This is the nature of everything. Don't stay stuck.
All right, so look, I woke up the other day tired. And instead of questioning anything, I just accepted it like, well, I guess that's who I am now. I just wake up tired. That's just who I am.
Yeah, like you just thought, this is me. I'm just the tired guy.
Indeed, not like, gee, I slept like garbage and maybe I probably I ate the trash the day before, right? And maybe I stared at my phone until at least midnight. Like, nah, it's none of that. It's just who I am now. It's just me.
At a certain age, like we don't even notice and question like feeling bad anymore. We just kind of manage it. We just deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can manage it with just a little more caffeine and some tasty snacks. And I mean, I can always just tell myself, like, screw it, it's fine. I'll fix it on Monday. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Monday is undefeated.
It's absolutely saved more imaginary lives than anything else in the world.
Yeah, and it's ruined just as many real ones. The plan for today is to talk about health. And while people certainly have health problems, I think also there's a problem where we do this thing where we just kind of pretend it's okay to be fine. Like even if you don't have like a chronic health problem, we don't admit that we're just kind of okay, health-wise.
So with that in mind, let's go through some of this then. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so everybody, this is the Nature of Everything podcast.
This is where we talk about the stuff that you already know, really.
I love it. But you're probably not doing it, but you already know it.
Yeah, and to that end, look, today we are talking about health, but we're not talking about it in the way that you probably think we are. It's not about abs and it's not about macros and counting all this stuff. And it's really not turning into someone that, you're just optimized and you're just a machine. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's how you actually feel in your body. Just like on a random, any day, nobody asking you, nobody looking. Just, what is your energy and your mood and your focus like? Sometimes I think that we just have that kind of low grade feeling that something's off. And that's the kind of thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and the question's not how do I become like uber super crazy healthy? It really comes down to why have I gotten so comfortable like feeling uncomfortable or not feeling great or just kind of feeling a little bit okay. And I think that's the part that it's tough for us all to admit when we really look into this is that we already know what's likely going to help. I think most of us already know what really helps.
Yeah, it's not a mystery. There's nobody out there that's going like, wait, water helps? Sleep matters? Like, oh, I should move my body. Like, we already know.
Yeah, truth be told, nobody needs a podcast to really inform them that if you go to bed earlier than, you're used to and you get rest and you don't drink alcohol all the time and you don't eat sugary snacks and if you'll go outside and get some sunlight, you're not on your phone. Like, we all know these things. So again, and we've talked about this in other episodes, like once again, it's not a knowledge problem that we have. We're not lacking in knowledge on this.
But, I think it's a really important connection to a health conversation because while there are those chronic health things, our ability to feel healthy, it's not a knowledge problem, like you said. It's a response problem. It's a practice problem. It's the gap between, like I know I should and actually doing
it. Yeah, and if you're like me, you fill that gap way too often with a lot of nonsense, a lot of crap that doesn't work. Like, okay, we can do some more research. We can look into it further. Like as soon as I get around to really looking into it, because that's not going to be immediate.
On Monday.
On Monday, right? When I come up with my new plan, because surely Monday is going to be the more right time than it is right now. And so, what it comes down to is you don't feel like doing the simple, basic, small step thing. You don't feel like doing that right now.
Yeah. And look, that's the honest part, right? That's the confirming it. I mean, it's not confusion, it's resistance. And instead of dealing with that, like we go look for something that makes it more complicated so that we can kind of keep dealing with stuff.
Well, and so on some level, like complicated, if we complicate it, then we somehow feel like we're being productive because just that basic, simple approach. I mean, what is it? It feels like it's almost like too obvious to even count or to consider.
But honestly, basic, that's the whole game.
Sure, people don't need a better plan, just like they don't need more information. They just don't need it.
Yeah, they just need to stop negotiating with the simple good plan that they know. They need to confirm it and own it and create a plan to act with some intention. And I'm sorry. I mean, that, of course, is the coin framework, but it just works.
It does work. Again, it sounds simple to say it, but like once you admit that you already know what works, it gets a little uncomfortable because you run out of excuses is the reality.
Yeah, because it's not about the information anymore. It's about you. And it's about the
Mhm.
fact that you aren't actually doing anything with the information.
Yeah, and that's the ownership piece, and that's where I know for me, if that's where I'm going to stall out, it's going to be with that because we all read something or we hear something or we talk to somebody, have a conversation, and we're like, yeah, that's the shit right there. That's we agree with it. We want that, and then nothing, nothing actually changes, or you don't do anything with
It's funny. And yeah, and then nothing. I mean,
it.
it
Nothing.
just becomes something you know about instead of
Hmm.
something you're living with or by or whatever. And honestly, like you're saying, that's kind of worse, because you're aware, but you're still just stuck.
Well, not only are you aware and stuck, you will even have that conversation with somebody else and you will speak that like it's in existence. Like you will tell somebody even what they need to be doing, right? When you know you're not doing it. And I think that's where the vast majority of us like misunderstand personal development and growth just in general because it's not about finding the perfect fit for whatever the idea is. Because it's not. It's about having that system, that framework that actually does work. And since it works, it's about actually doing it, putting it into practice and doing it consistently. And again, then don't do it alone. Do it with somebody that keeps you in practice.
Yeah. I mean, that really is it. System, practice, support. If you
Hmm.
miss one of those, the whole thing kind of breaks.
Yeah, like health. Your own approach to staying healthy or getting healthy or being like if you don't have a system, then you're guessing at it. If you're not using a framework, then you're making guesses. And like not that trying random things are is terrible, but too often if we're not using the system that we know works, then we're starting and we're stopping and we're
Mm.
getting on and off of it and it is super random to the point where without direction you stall out because it seems futile.
Yeah, but like the times in my life when I've kind of had that system, but even though I had kind of a system, a plan, like I didn't do it. I didn't practice, and
Mhm.
I was really just a well informed mess. Like I knew exactly what to do and I still didn't do it.
You knew all the words. You could even say all of the stuff to someone else, but didn't have it in practice for yourself, right?
Yeah,
And it is brutal because just so happens when you stand in front of the mirror, you can't hide from you because you know
well, I can try. But look,
it.
I mean, I don't think people talk about this enough. If you have a system and you're trying to practice, but you've got no support, I mean, even then, you're kind of on your own every single day, just trying to hold the line. Like all of these
Mm.
things cause people to drift, a lack of a system, a lack of practice, and a lack of support.
And what becomes problematic with that is that it makes you feel as though, again, it's that failure piece or your weakness or the fact that you obviously can't commit. But I think to your point, it's often because you're so isolated that you can make those excuses to yourself. You can get weak alone and then allow yourself those excuses because without accountability or the ability to have someone help reinforce what your demand is of you and of them, like without somebody reminding you, it's easy to start slipping, and it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
you call it drift. That drift does show up. So I think to your point, you end up so easily right back where you started. But now, not only are you back where you started, or you've slidden further backwards, like now you're there and you're pissed or frustrated or even more beat down than you were before.
And look, this is the part that people don't want to hear. It's the part that I don't want to hear. You can't half do it and expect it to work. Like, you can't,
Sure.
like, take our coin framework. You can't just read the book and think you're good. You can't
Right.
just try harder for a week and call it a system. And you definitely can't do it alone and expect to stay consistent.
I agree. Like you said, if you're missing one of these pieces, it's not a matter of if you're going to falter or if you're going to drift or if you're going to fall off. It really does become a matter of when you're going
Mm.
to do one of those things.
Yeah, and look, bringing this all the way back around to our health, again, it's not about finding out something new. It's about asking, do I actually have something that works? And am I actually doing that? And do I have any support around me, around my practice?
So I think that leads us to asking ourselves even right now, like, and being honest, confirmation piece, like what feels off, like what doesn't feel right, what's uncomfortable in your own body right now. Not what you tell people, and certainly not your ideal, social posts, but like what's the stuff that is not working for you right now in your day to day, whether it's energy levels, like do you wake up tired, or is it sometimes, or is it all the time? Do you wake up hurting? I mean, is it your joints? Is it like, are you not sleeping? And if you're not, why is it? Is it because you are just staying up too late doom scrolling, or are you super wired at night? Can you not turn your brain off? Like, you have to figure out what it's going to be and name it. Like, what's making you exhausted in the morning? Let's start there. If that's how you're waking up, then let's pick it apart.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, like, just finding out, like, where am I not okay? What am I pretending is fine? And confirm it. You don't have to
Yeah.
fix it. You don't have to have the plan. Just start with the truth and stop lying about it.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say it. You said it is pretending, and you think about the fact that how often do we want to dodge that confirmation piece, and and we're pretending to our own self, like we're trying to convince ourselves that it's not whatever it is, and I think about how ridiculous that is, but we're all plagued with it at some point, because without that, there's no way you get to the next piece of taking ownership, because if you're owning this, then you've decided to stop pretending that it's somehow somebody else's problem, or you
Yeah.
can't blame this on somebody else. If any of us can get past the fact that it's not about my schedule, it's not about what's on the calendar, it's not about your job, like it's not done to you. This isn't just a season that you're going to have to get through so that you can get healthy down the road. Like that's a terrible window to count for.
Yeah. And look, at some point, it's just admitting I know what helps me. I know what would help me, and I'm
Hmm.
not doing it. And that's not being harsh to yourself. That's just a good, clean, honest statement. Because when you own it, you will actually get your power back.
And that gives you the ability to act with intention. I get it. For a lot of these things, it's not necessarily easy to tackle because of the level of honesty and work that you're having to put in.
Yeah, it's
Like,
hard.
but yeah, but it still doesn't have to be overly complicated. You actually don't have to make it worse than it is. You don't have to have 11 different changes overnight right now. You just have to pick one. Pick one thing that you already know helps. That's it. Just pick one. You already know it. Like, what's the
Yeah.
problem?
Well, I mean, you already said some, right? Drink
Hmm.
drink more water. Go for a
Hmm.
walk. Go to bed on time. Eat some real actual food. Or
Sure.
like me, you can do those 2 push-ups
just the two, right?
if that's what I
Again,
got.
it may not. Okay, so it's not impressive, but it's honest, and that matters. Remember, the word basic doesn't have to mean that it is without value or ineffective. Like, basic is usually that's the thing that you've been avoiding. And I've heard it said for years, like your high-end teams, like from a military perspective, your special forces guys, your SEALs and all these dudes, what they do is they do the basics so well that they generally can't mess those up. So it's not about doing the high capacity, crazy ninja stuff. Like if you do the basics and you do them well, it's not ineffective. It's not trivial. Do them well. And if you don't screw up the basics, then you're doing the high level shit.
Yeah, and look, I think some people miss this. That your health doesn't
Sure.
change because like, you cram it all in, you just binge some kind of a activity or you go like, okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna go run 8 miles right now. Your health doesn't change because you just do that once. It changes because you start becoming someone who responds to themselves instead of ignoring yourself, even if it is just the 2 push-ups. You stop negotiating with the obvious, like you said, because it's like so simple, like we have to overcomplicate it. And we stop waiting until, it gets bad enough to matter.
Well, I mean, and to your point, like, yeah, don't just, if you haven't been running, don't jump up and do 8 miles. It's a terrible idea. The guy that ran the first marathon, he died. Like, he delivered his message and then he died. So that's not what we're looking for. Like, that's the wrong answer because what you want to put into play is the long game because over time as your energy shifts as your abilities shift and increase then your clarity shifts, you become more clear about what you desire and what you want for you and then you get to confirm those things as well. But really more than anything, the important piece of this is that as you make those steps, your relationship with yourself, your ability to be more honest and more clear with you when you stand in front of that mirror, your nature is changing as you put this in play.
Yeah.
Because, like, now you trust that when something is off and it's not working, then you're actually going to do something about it.
Yeah. And really, I mean, that's about your personal integrity. That's about some internal congruence. And it makes a huge difference. So don't leave this podcast and go look for something new, right? Go say, like, yeah, I'm motivated. Let me go get some more information. Again, you already
Mhm.
know. So do it
Mhm.
like today and not 5 things. And definitely don't wait on Monday, the magic Monday, like today.
It's the one thing right now, today. And if you won't do that, well, then I say at least be honest about that too, to where you're like, yeah, I hear you, and all of that's smart, but I ain't doing shit today. I'm choosing no.
Yeah, and this podcast was about health, or like it was kind of supposed to be. And you might have thought that we're gonna, I don't know, talk about some kind of actual physiological health things. But I think for a lot of people, it's about being able to confront your truth. It's about whether or not you're
Mm.
willing to respond to your own life, to your own body.
I agree because anybody that's got some years on them whatsoever, I mean, we already know. I mean, our bodies are already talking to us. I mean, they're speaking loudly
I know,
in
calling me
so
a
many
fat
ways.
ass.
Well, but then the question is, are you listening? Right?
Right.
If your
Yeah.
body's talking, are you listening to it? Or are you just handling it? Are you just handling the conversation? Are you just managing that conversation so that you don't actually have to listen to it well?
Yeah, and we have to decide if we're actually going to do something with all this stuff that we already know.
Because you've already said it. If you already know the stuff, and if you don't have a system in place, then you've already said you're right. You're going to drift. If you're not putting these things into practice, then yay, nothing. You wake up tomorrow and nothing has changed because you haven't done anything different. And once again, for me, I know this to be very true. If I'm doing it alone, the vast majority of the time, if I am doing something that presses me, that's putting me into growth, that discomfort, that pushes the envelope, that makes me better, if I'm doing it alone, I can talk myself out of it. And so there's a good chance it's not going to maintain.
Yeah, and look, the hardest thing here is just to admit how uncomplicated this is, that it's just
Hmm.
being honest.
Yeah. Paying attention to yourself and coining it, put it through this framework. Do the basic thing. Take that basic step and just stop waiting. Just stop waiting.
Yeah, I mean, just stop pretending it's fine if it's not.
Mm, that's not fine. And you know what? Just that little piece right there, that will change the nature of everything. So look, thanks for listening in. We appreciate you all very much, and we will see you very, very soon. See you next time.
Before you go, just know it's time. Time to connect. Time to change the nature of everything. Find us at coinyourlife.com and don't stay stuck.